basically that shows what happens on the stack during a buffer overflow. And so this, we'll say, is the stack for some web page or something that takes somebody's phone number, has a Boolean to see if they're logged in before you change it or something, and then just a counter for another variable. So if, say, you enter your phone number and you put in parentheses and spaces and dashes, that's more than the 10 characters that they allow for a phone number. And so, say you didn't check to make sure it was just 10 digits or characters, it'll then overflow into the next position on the stack. And then this will cause the problem, because that's not how it's supposed to work. And so this will have a fault of some sort. And then, so as a user, you'll see some weird output or some error message or something that you didn't expect. And so then you can tell that a buffer overflow has happened. And then, so the next step you can do is you need to find the size of the buffer, so you know how much code you can inject. And so you can do that just by entering a bunch of stuff. And so here we added 4 strings of 4 characters, because they're 16 bytes. And so our return address then gave us a fault on FFGG, which would be where the return address is. And then we can just count how many characters are in there, and that tells us how big in bytes our buffer is. And then, so now we know how big the buffer is, and now we can know where the return address is, so we can then overwrite it with code that we want to run. So next step is we put in a bunch of X90s, which are shell code to say do nothing. So we don't want it to do anything until we get to the return pointer, and then we told it to open a shell on whatever computer we were on, and now we have a shell on their computer. And that's how our code. Yeah.
Does anyone have any questions on buffer